Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Josh.
And this is NFGeeks. Alright, Josh, this is great because you're going to tell us about some stuff that, this is sort of a series, another series I like to do with NFs. And this is NF Moments with Josh. And I know people have seen this before, but just to sort of get everybody up to speed, NF Moments are when you have sort of these intuitive moments that cannot be explained. There's no rational process to the understanding at all. And they're usually about people. People and events with people, and they hit immediately. It's not like they slowly come and then they form. It's always like bang. So
it's like our personal power.
Yeah, it sure is. And I find too, and maybe you'll comment on this, is that when they're at their strongest is when we're having an NF moment about something horrible and frightening. You know, when something really bad is on its way. Those are the powerful ones. Like, oh my God, it's hitting me. So, go ahead. I'm really excited that you have some NF moments. Let's hear all about them.
The one that, like, made me go, ooh, now I can do NF moments with Mike is, it was really weird. I was at, if anybody knows who the rapper Drake is, I was at his concert, like, a couple months ago. It was in June. And, like, there's always, like, when someone has, like, a really long section, there's always a part where they, like, go off stage and, like, change because they're all sweaty or whatever. So, like, he got off stage and he was changing. And when he got off stage, he was wearing, like, a black tank top, and as soon as he got off stage, like, I was like, he's gonna come back wearing a white tank top.
Ah.
And he came back wearing a white tank top.
Oh, wow. There you go. There's
and, like, there was other things, like, there's always stuff, like, I don't know if it's because, like, the relationship or whatever, but there's always stuff with my girlfriend, like, we finish each other's sentences, where she, like, looks at me, and I know what she means, or, like, just things like that. Like, I know she's gonna text me before she does.
Oh,
little weird things like that.
Oh, that's great.
And trouble, like you said, when horrible things happen, trouble. Like, there was this thing the other day that was happening where, like, we were at a place and this person was gonna come over all of a sudden, and I was like, we should leave because bad stuff is gonna happen now. Like, bad stuff is gonna happen, and bad stuff happened. Everything was okay after, but like.
Well, what's interesting about that with the NF, because I've had that same kind of NF moment, is that first of all, what the bad thing isn't necessarily known, and that's not even relative. Like the specifics, doesn't matter. Secondly, it's not like when we talk about this as NFs, we don't say, this bad moment's going to happen, and here's why, and here's the thing. We just say it out loud, and other NFs pick it up right away. Like, there's not like this discussion.
They know too.
Right, there's not like this process that we're sharing. Can you be a little more specific about this recent incident?
Maybe not that one. I know. Okay, like there was another one that like just happened to me like 2 days ago where like I was looking to get a shift covered at work, and I texted this kid and I said, hey, can you cover my shift? It's this day, this time. And as soon as I pressed send, I said, he's going to text me back saying that he's going to be out of town and he's going to be at this place doing this thing and he's not going to be able to do it. And he texted me back like 5 minutes later saying that he couldn't do it because he was going with his brothers and his girlfriend's cousins to a lake somewhere. And he wasn't going to be able to do it.
And what makes it an NF moment, I don't know if this is true, but I bet it's true because I know my NFs, is that there was no hint or information prior to this to say that he was going somewhere. You might not even knew he had any of these places to go to or that this existed or whatever. No. But somehow that came across.
I knew he was going on a trip somewhere.
Yeah. And that brings up another interesting about NF moments is that proximity isn't always relevant.
Right.
Right? I mean, he was still far away at this moment, maybe in the same town, but like you weren't having this conversation this close like we are.
Right.
It was automatically through like space and time somehow. All right, what's your, do you have any explanations for this? Any kind of theory or any kind of, how do you explain this?
I wouldn't say it's anything like, I wouldn't go as far as saying it's like supernatural or anything like that, but I just think all the types, we all have our own specialties and things that we have well, and I just think the NFs just have like that keen ability for being able to sense things that are going to happen. I think it's maybe we understand like the emotions and maybe we're better at getting people's thought processes more. So I think when it comes to dealing with other people, we like understand like maybe we can process like scenarios faster or something when it comes to dealing with people and their emotions and what they're thinking about, what they're going to do.
All right, that's interesting because let me tell you what cognitive psychology says about this. it's not very positive. And that's because I think NTs invented cognitive psychology. But look, cognitive psychology has lots of very valid points. Okay, absolutely. Maybe someday I'll talk about it. But regarding the intuitive moments, they would argue that what's actually going on is a rational problem-solving process, because they view thinking as the primary way that we see the world, not feelings, but thinking, and that thinking has various problem-solving ways with thinking: trial and error, algorithms, heuristics. And they would say that intuitive moments are basically you're using one of those problem-solving techniques, but you're unconscious of it, and you're not aware of it. Like somehow you've sort of compartmentalized or dissociated, and you're not aware of your own cognitive process, this rational process. Now, the world according to Mike is, I think that's crap. I don't think that's true, because these things happen like instantly.
How would I have known exactly what T-shirt he was going to put on
as
soon as he left?
Or
like,
what the almost exact content of the phone call, not the phone call, the text was going to be.
Right.
So what do you think about that? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I don't really know. I don't think it's I don't think I agree. I think it's something maybe a little bit more, maybe probably this wouldn't apply to the creators of that, but I think maybe it has something more to do with a type of overall consciousness more so than a thought process.
Sure. And before the comments come, although this is okay, yes, I know about Albert Ellis and Aaron Beck and the research that goes into cognitive psychology. Yes, and I accept it, okay? Lots of value in cognitive psychology, specifically in the therapeutic room. So I'm on board. I'm not against it. Sometimes I got to say that.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, sort of a disclaimer. I find that people assume I mean things that I don't. All right, so let me go back a bit. I'm really interested in NF moments that happen between intimate romantic relationships, because there's some even deeper thing that goes on, because you know them very well, and you're sort of in each other's minds in a way, because there's always like this meshing and melting. I know that's a very NF thing to say about love. But there is some sort of thing that goes on where you become sort of one NF. Right. So can you speak of some some really NF moments that you've had with your girlfriend, and what they've been like, and if anything specific comes to mind?
See, with that, it confuses me, because I don't know if they're actual NF moments or if they're just a product of like knowing the person really well because you're in a relationship with them.
Well,
because I think if you're in a relationship with someone, like a close relationship for a long period of time, I think you can have that type of, like, those type of moments without actually being in an F.
Huh.
So I don't know.
That's interesting. We'll
that's kind of my personal theory. So I'm not sure if they're actual NF moments or just a product of being in a close relationship for a long time.
All right. Well, then let me break it down into two parts, and you can see if this makes any sense for you. Okay. Have you ever had any NF moments where both of you had an NF moment at the same time about observing something outside of you?
Yeah.
Like you both saw a person, a crowd, or something, and you said, "Oh my God, X is going to happen," and she said, "No kidding."
Yeah.
What are some things like that? Have happened?
Well, like there's been moments where like she'll be like on her computer looking at something, and she'll stop and look at a picture and laugh, and I'll say, "You're laughing at that because of this, right?" And she'll say, "Yeah."
Oh, all right.
So that's like one thing that happens. Or I'll be telling a story, and somewhere along the story she'll stop me and she'll say, "And then they started to do this, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course they did."
All right. That's very good. Have both of you ever had a horrifying NF moment where outside of yourself, not towards each other, where you both were looking at something in the world, were like, ah,
Not yet.
Really?
No.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. Well, when that happens, you have to come back on so we can hear that story.
Okay.
Yes. You're like worried.
I'm worried. Yeah. I'm like, what's bad's gonna happen?
Oh, okay. Not between you, but NFs always pick up bad. As you get older, you'll see this. There's always like these horrifying moments where you see it coming. I've had a ton, by my age, and they're all horrible and scary.
Like
traumatizing.
You see the invasion of Poland coming. You're like, he's gonna cross over, and you're like, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had, when 9/11 happened, I was with my ex-wife. She was my ex-wife yet, and we're sitting there, we're watching the replays of the tower. And I just turned to her and I said, Julie, Saddam Hussein is dead. He's going to die now. And she said, why? Do you think he had something to do with this? And I said, nope. but he's done. Okay, this is all going to go towards his way, and it worked. That's exactly what happened. And another time was, when Colin Powell. This is, and I'll try to get to more personal ones. Colin Powell was trying to justify an invasion of Iraq to the Security Council, and I immediately knew it was full of shit by looking at Colin Powell. Like, just looking at him. Forget the explanation, the posters, whatever he was showing. I looked at him talking and I went, oh my God, this is crap. And, sure enough, no weapons of mass destruction. And it was all just from looking, like he came on the camera, talking, and as soon as I saw him, I said, oh my God, my NF powers have just told me that this is crap. This is going to go bad. And sure enough, bad, Now, have you ever had, right, so those are moments, out in the world, but, so you haven't had any bad moments with people, necessarily. That's what you're saying.
Well, personally, but not like together as a unit, like me and her. But me,
right.
yeah, by myself, sure.
Right. Okay. So let's go back to you and her now. What? Let me put it this way: has she had NF moments about you where you went, whoa? How did that? Where did she get that from? Like specifically to you.
Okay. Look. All right. This is a good one. I'm gonna tell this. I don't know if this applies, but I'm going to tell you the story.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
The other day, she made this joke to me about, like, can I leave my phone here, or are you going to look at it? And I said, why would I look at your phone? I've never looked at your phone before. And she told me this story about how we were asleep, and she woke up and saw me, like, trying to touch her phone, like, to turn it on. And I was like, this has never happened. Which is true. To my knowledge, this has never happened. So, like, I don't know if she was dreaming and just thought it was really real, or if I was, like, sleep moving my arm. But one of those things had to have happened. Right. She's convinced that I did it, and I know for a fact I did not do it.
Wow. So you have no memory of it.
Yeah.
Well, it could be that maybe in your sleep you were actually looking for your phone.
That's what I'm thinking.
In a dream state. That's very interesting. Okay, now, and hopefully she won't watch this. Have you ever wanted to do that?
No.
All right, that's good. That's good. So there's not like she's not picking up on some deep, dark, event about you. Has she ever had any other moments about you that where you were like, wow, she just picked up on something about me? And we should state what's the type of your girlfriend, just to make sure.
INFP.
So INFP, we're talking about here, right?
I don't think. Nothing big in particular. No, like, moment where I was like, what? But, like, no, nothing major. Just, like, little ones, little moments, little events.
I do find that sometimes, and this is going to make INFPs cry, so I'm not trying to make you cry. I love you. Is that sometimes I think that I've experienced this with INFPs, that they have an idea or an image in their head, and they have very deep feelers, and very deep, deepest of all the types. And when they feel the impact of this idea, the feeling is so real to them, usually something horrible and painful, that the feeling is so strong it makes them assume it actually happened.
Right, like the feeling overrides facts?
Yes, absolutely, because the feeling is so unbelievably strong in the moment. And it's usually hurtful. It's usually a panic or a fear, or they had this idea and they sort of had this imaginative moment where it really hurt them. And they were really hurt by the idea. It's not like they're faking the emotional part of it.
Right.
But then I think the feeling was so strong that it somehow got, like, this must be real. Because the feeling I'm having is, horrible.
Right. I think
have you seen that in your
I think that's true, too. I think it happens.
Has it happened? Like, this story seems to be that.
Right, yeah. I think that applies there. I think that happens, too, a lot.
So the question is, I wonder if that counts as an NF moment, because they might be feeling something that maybe didn't happen, but is possible to happen, and it might even be something that will eventually happen. So, what do you think about that? Not the phone thing, but, like, do you think that could be going on?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It seems probable.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll see. All right, well, Josh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your NF moments, and if you have any more, come on back, and we'll experience more of them and talk about more of them.
Sure.
I love NF moments, one of my favorite things. All right. Thank you, Josh.